I think the Saints should hope that Drew Brees retires. You know, you can keep doing the same thing again and again because it looks on the surface like the best option. Well, we think he's still better than Taysom Hill, say, or we don't really think Taysom Hill can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Okay, but neither can Drew Brees at this point. I'm sorry, but we've seen it too often now in the playoffs. The season may be too long for him at his age and his size. Don't forget, like Tom Brady, I talked about the clip and everything. Tom Brady's a big, strong guy. Drew Brees is a smaller guy playing a brutal full contact sport. And speaking of brutality, had all those ribs crushed and his lung punctured and everything. And I thought maybe there's a silver lining. Maybe he'll be more rested and won't look as bad as he's looked in the playoffs in recent years. Because I really looked at this Saints team and thought, this is the best chance he'll have to win a Super Bowl. This is it. And maybe the best chance he's had in years, given the fact that they had a number 2 receiver. They had a hot defense. They were probably the most well-rounded team, until it turns out the Bucs, at the time. And they had a tie score going into the fourth quarter against Tom Brady, against a team that they'd beaten twice already. The second time worse than the first time. Couldn't get it done. Brady got it done. Brees couldn't. And he couldn't get it done because he couldn't make the plays. Let's just be honest about it. Drew Brees is one of my all-time favorites. But you got to be honest about it. Stephen A., you know what it's like? Sometimes you'll see a fight, a prize fight. I know you're a big fight fan. And a guy has trained a certain way to box responsibly and everything. It's just not working. And he gets back to the corner, and the guy's like, double the jab and do this and do everything. And you're like, dude, that ain't going to work. Look, even though it may seem foolish because you'll get knocked out even faster, you better throw caution to the wind because that's the only chance you have. The Saints, unlike the Steelers and a lot of teams, are built to win a Super Bowl right now. They're not going to do it with Drew Brees. So even if you think Taysom Hill maybe gives them a lesser chance superficially, even if it's Taysom Hill, at least he gives you a puncher's chance. Drew Brees, I don't think you have a chance to win a Super Bowl right now.
Well, I think you're wrong. I think they have a chance. Obviously, at age 42, you do need to be moving in a different direction. The problem is that what you're going to go out and get. If you're going to tell me I'm going to lose Drew Brees, who, by the way, completed 70% of his passes in the 12 games that he played, threw for 24 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, that's not something to sneeze at. I'm certainly not going to accuse Drew Brees of being what he used to be, and I understand that. But as much as I like Taysom Hill, as much as we've not given up on Jameis Winston, assuming you could get him back and what have you, the bottom line is that what do you have? What's the alternative? I think based on what you have available to you, I certainly could see Drew Brees coming back. I certainly don't mind if he doesn't. Me personally, if he retired, I wouldn't mind that either. But I think that based on what your options are, I see no issue whatsoever. If the Saints sat up there and said Drew Brees is coming back, I don't think you'd see the mayor calling for Russell Wilson, even though Russell Wilson at this point in time in his career, particularly due to his mobility, not just his ability to throw the football, but his mobility, I definitely think you'd prefer him over Drew Brees. But I don't think you'd see public officials in New Orleans clamoring for somebody else's quarterback if if everybody knew that Drew Brees was coming back. Because when you look at this man throw the football, the accuracy with which he does it, Michael Thomas didn't have the same kind of year because he was in and out this year. Emmanuel Sanders didn't have the year that we expected him to. And so we got to take that into consideration as well. Do I think that they could be better next year than even they were this year? Yeah, I think they could do that. And I think in the case of Tom Brady, you ain't beating Tom Brady 3 times in the same season. You shellacked him 2 times in a regular season. Obviously, come playoff time, he got the better of you. You're going up against Tom Brady on 3 separate occasions, and you beat him the first 2 times. Chances are he's going to get you once. And that's what happened there. And I don't think it was just about Drew Brees. I think it was about Sean Payton's game planning. I think it was about the lack of production this year from Michael Thomas compared to what we're accustomed to seeing from him. I think all of those things played a role. So I wouldn't give up on Drew Brees, but it's primarily because of the options that they have available to you. If you could get Russell Wilson, sure, you get him. But if you can't get somebody of that caliber, I'd say you stick with Drew Brees rather than handing the reins to Taysom Hill. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I wish this question was, should the Saints go after Russell Wilson? Because that's an easy one. That makes sense. I think the Saints are caught between a rock and a hard place because it's almost like Pittsburgh, except the money isn't the same with Big Ben. I argued on Get Up a couple weeks ago or last week that, I think that they're going to restructure Big Ben because what else are the Steelers going to do? What other options do they have? The Saints, though, they have Breeze at a lot less, financially, like a lot less money they got to spend on his salary. He just reduced it. the problem is the window is closing on this team. Maybe not in 2021, but thereafter. I think this is the year. If Breeze wants to come back, God bless him. But like Max said, the injuries, I think at some point we're going to be looking at Drew and wondering, okay, is he going to be able to give you 16 games? I don't think he can. At
Yeah,
some point, you might have Taysom Hill having to start, or Jameis Winston, who 5,000 yards, he's not that far removed from 5,000 yards and 35 touchdowns. So let's not throw Jameis away, but the options are just so bad that it makes the fact that this is even a question that shows where the Saints are. That 42-year-old Drew Brees, should he come back? That's what we're debating.
Well, I actually think Taysom Hill's a little slept on. Like he was 3-1 as a quarterback. That was his quarterback record. He completed over 70% of his passes. Obviously, things are simpler in terms of the passing game with him. But it was, it's not like he was throwing over 200 yards a game. He threw, twice as many touchdowns as interceptions, though that wasn't a very high number. I mean, I think the difference between the Steelers and New Orleans, other than financially, Kimberly, is the New Orleans Saints are ready to win a Super Bowl right now. They need better quarterback play. I mean, they need a little more health, yes, but they need better quarterback play. And so you say, well, Taysom Hill's not going to be better than Drew Brees, but at least he gives you a different dimension than Drew Brees. As I said earlier, more of a puncher's chance. You look at the Steelers, you go, ugh, what they got. You might as well take Roethlisberger, but you ain't going to win a Super Bowl anyway. The Saints, you go, no, actually, the options they have behind Drew Brees are quite respectable, and they're ready to win now. So, Stephen A., I don't know. I think Russell Wilson, people might be calling for Russell Wilson in New Orleans anyway. In fact, when I heard the mayor, I was thinking, ooh, it's a little disrespectful to Drew Brees because it's not official yet. And then on the other hand, let's be honest, anyone at this point in their career especially would make that trade. Of course they would love to have Russell Wilson.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.